be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth, to enlighten your heart, enlighten your soul, your entire being. But you are my son, my dear, and the Lord knows it is coming from the bottom of my heart. I'll always pray for you and for whoever was in this act. In the name of my Jesus, I forgive you, I love you, and I will always pray for you. For me, it's a priceless gift that I am not worthy of. I pray the Lord accepts it.
But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, that, my friend, is very hard to do. And you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving. And when you move, you are determined to move. Not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm gonna do it, man, and I'm gonna do it, you see. So that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one with the, you think.
The Li Dynasty has to be the most complex family I've ever seen. Famous Li families would include Bruce Lee and Jet Li, the famous martial artists, Li Na, the famous tennis player, Kwan Yew, the founding father of Singapore, and Li Ka-Shing, the Hong Kong billionaire, just to name a few. A typical Chinese name is made up of a family name, which is written first, and then the personal name. You will see it spelled L-I, L-E-E, and sometimes L-E-I. The Li surname has a longer history than the British Empire, which goes back to Emperor Zhuanxu, who was the first Li according to the Chinese Dictionary of Surnames. The Li family was the ruling house during the Tang Dynasty. Yuan was the founder of the Tang Dynasty, which resulted in the printing of paper money. The Li family can be considered as powerful as the Rothschilds. You can trace the Li family back to the 8 Immortals, who I believe are offspring of the Nephilim. These 8 Immortals had superpowers or supernatural abilities and are rumored to be the creators of martial arts. It's interesting that 2 of the most prominent martial artists are tied to this. The New World Order has been conducting business with the Lis since the inception of the United Nations. This strongly suggests that the Li family in China is also part of the Illuminati. Kwan Yew, a Cambridge-educated lawyer, was dictator of Singapore for decades. And of course, Singapore went to a cashless society before anyone else. Another way to verify that the Li family is connected to the Illuminati is to follow the money. The Li family owns and runs the Bank of East Asia, or the BEA, one of the most influential banks in Hong Kong. Florence Li became the first lady Catholic priest. Florence Li played a role in replacing Shangdi with Catholicism. Shangdi is identical or parallel to Christianity. This will be important to know as we get closer to a one-world religion. The real decision-making in China's political system takes place within the Politburo. This inner circle of 7 men are surrounded by the House of Li. For example, Li Peng has met with many of the world's leaders and Illuminati's top families, and has now passed the torch to his children. Li Mi was a general who worked with the CIA to start up the poppy fields, to produce drugs that would be marketed by other top Illuminati families. It was not by accident that Li was the one to begin this opium production. The Li family was involved in the creation of the Heaven and Earth Society, which later became the Triads. The Triads are Freemasonry in China. Anytime your ritual to join involves drinking blood, you know it's tied to Satanism. The Triads are arguably the deadliest and biggest international mafia gang known to man, still operating today. They have worked with the CIA and the British East India Company, and the Triads were known to originate from the Shaolin monks, or the 5 elders that were believed to have gained enlightenment from the gods that gave them supernatural abilities.